Okay, I'd like to open Mahoning County Commissioners meeting number 8, Thursday, March the 2nd, 2023. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning.
I'm gonna move out of town.
Move.
I'm just,
And we were talking about that. I mean, that there's like things that create odors that smell for years,
oh,
that
yeah.
it's terrible. So, and I used to go to that one city that had a potlatch mill where they made paper. And even when they shut the mill down, you smelled it for 2 years, back after that. So it's a lot of truth to that. Anyway, from a sidebar. Okay, any public comments? Anybody like to address the board? We ask you to come up to the podium, 3 minutes.
This is great.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to approval of previous minutes of board meeting number 7, Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, and approval of bills for payment.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. And like Anthony is going to be off this week. He's, we talked last meeting about the sudden passing of his mother and him just taking care of some family problems and not problems, but issues and stuff that we all deal with when you face the loss of a family member and have to address all the needs of the family. And Anthony is now the
Matriarch.
yeah, I was gonna say matriarch of the family. Yeah, thank you. And has to address a lot of situation, a lot of issues. So he'll be off this week, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, move on to journal entries number 1.
Motion to approve journal entries number 1.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Okay, agreements. Clerk of Courts.
Good morning, everyone. Letter A is a request for an agreement with Tibera Development Group, and it's to provide ongoing software support for our e-filing system. It's a 3-year agreement with renewal options. The first year of the cost is $22,598, and that will be non-general funds. Letter B is a request for an amendment to our 5-year agreement with Courtview Justice Solutions, which ended in 2012. And it's to provide ongoing support and maintenance for the Courtview integrated justice system. And this agreement supports not only the clerk's office, but common pleas court, domestic relations court, juvenile court, probate court, county courts, and the sheriff. So the amount of $434,383.50 includes all of those entities. And the funds were non-general and general.
Ouch. Okay, engineers.
Morning, Commissioners. C is an agreement with Southeastern Equipment for repairs to our vehicle number 462 and the estimated amount of $8,671.53. D is an agreement with Prop Boiler and Heating and Welding for replacement of the vacuum pump and defective tube heater in our garages for the amount of $5,601. These are both non-general.
Thanks, Rick. JJC.
Good morning, Commissioners. The E is an agreement with EMS Plumbing for installation of 2 100-gallon hot water tanks and 1 8-gallon expansion tank in the amount of $33,050 general fund. F is an agreement with Innovation Counseling and Wellness Center, LLC, for counseling and related services for the Pathways to Success program for 2 years in the amount of $10,000 for the first year general fund, non-general fund.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Sanitary.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sanitary is an agreement with ProTech Systems Group for repair and maintenance on an as-needed basis for the instrumentation system at various locations of this department in the estimated amount of $25,000, and this is also non-general.
Good. Thank you, Eric. We're sure glad you're here. All right, a motion to approve
Motion.
agreements.
A motion to approve number 2, agreements A through G.
Second, roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Change orders, OMB grants.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Anna.
How are you?
Good, how are you on?
doing?
Good, thank you. This is change order number 1 with Family and Community Services to amend the project budget amounts by $3,403.31 at the 47 Bon Air project at no change in total amount. What we're doing is just moving one cost item was a little overrun, so we're moving a portion of what was budgeted for flooring over to the windows.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. Motion to approve change orders.
Motion to approve number 3, change orders A.
Second, roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Okay, appointments, commissioners. Appoint the following individuals to serve on the Mahoning County Children's Services Board effective March 1st, 2023 for a 4-year term. Bridget Kennedy. We're happy to have her back on the board. Okay, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve number 4, appointments A.
Second, roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Resolutions.
Motion to approve resolutions number 1, additions.
Second, roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Okay, resolutions, Commissioners OMB.
Commissioners, this is a resolution approving the following vouchers for ORC 5705.41 in the following amounts for departments. This is just an order of how they were processed, so had to come to the board prior to them being processed. For the dog warden, 9.5, for sheriff's office, 2358.67. And I do have Susan on there. She might want to speak on her too.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Susan.
Morning, Susan.
For the resolutions for the HWS baseball, that's who we set up resource tables with the scrappers, Mahoning Valley scrappers. There was a discrepancy in the date on the purchase order compared to the invoice in the amount of $3,000. And the second one for the county risk sharing, the same thing. It was an issue with the date on the invoice that Kathy Jones sent to us in the amount of $500.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, B, Commissioners. Resolution changing the county seat from the Commissioners' hearing room to Poland Township Administration Building, 3339 Dobbins Road, Poland, Ohio, next Wednesday, March the 8th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. Okay, then sanitary.
All right, letter C is a resolution to enter into an agreement with DLZ Ohio Inc. for professional engineering services related to the Poland Village pedestrian bridge replacement project. It's Department Improvement number 532. It's in the amount of $101,113, and it is non-general. Letter D is resolution approving the agreement with one employee and the Mahoning County Sanitary Engineering Employees Union.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve resolutions.
Motion to approve number 2, resolutions A through D.
Second, roll call.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. All right. Hey, what are you doing sneaking
Turn around.
around?
What did you do, walk behind him?
I don't know.
Sure, she's wanted to probably slap you.
She probably did. She's probably taken that, device you put on my chair out, Well, that was quick, huh?
Yes.
So we have like a half hour to just sit and talk and have any
Audrey's,
questions?
wait, Audrey's looking at you like, I doubt it. We have meetings. She's giving you the look.
Okay, anybody have any comments for the good of the board, good of the honor, good of the order? All right.
Jerry, you want to give us an idea of what's going on over in East Liverpool?
East Palestine.
Everybody says that.
East Palestine. Why do I see East
Everybody
Liverpool?
says East Liverpool.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, we do it ourselves. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Folks there are scared, angry, frightened, you name it. We were able to follow Governor DeWine and Ohio EPA Administrator Ann Vogel around yesterday as they kind of inspected some of the cleanup work that's going on. It's interesting how they're doing the things that they're doing. How they're cleaning, especially the waterways that run through town. They dammed off the area that they believe is contaminated and they're purposely churning it up so that the contamination in the creek bed comes to the surface and they can vacuum it off.
That's really.
They said they've taken 5,000 cubic yards of contaminated soil so far from between the tracks. There are 2 tracks that run through there. When they tear those tracks out to replace the ones that were put in over contaminated ground, it'll be 6 times that.
Wow.
And then the
Yeah, because they
liquids.
gotta compress it, right?
Well, I think they kind of put everything back to where it was when they redid the track so that they could reopen the line. And they didn't dig out that contaminated stuff. The contaminated liquid is being taken, a lot of it's going to Texas, some of it's going to the Sandusky area, where they have injection wells, like the ones they use for oil and gas drilling around here. They can take it and pump it into those wells. The biggest thing though, and the governor said this morning on TV, and we know how you were talking about Agent Orange, and we've seen the law fund set up for those exposed to asbestos or Agent Orange or other things. He thinks ultimately there's going to have to be a fund created that people that get sick 10 years from now will be able to go to, just like those asbestos lawsuit funds.
Sure.
Whether the railroad does this on its own or whether they get forced into it by a federal court, but that's, something that's going to be in place for years to come to help these people.
Can I ask a question? And I don't know if they addressed this in their, because I didn't really hear anything about that. But when you're transporting hazardous waste over the roads, do they need to get special permitting? Or do they need to have a police escort so they don't have
That I don't
spillage?
know. I know there's
Talking
been,
about roads now, trucks.
well, a lot of it's being, the stuff that's liquid is being transported by rail car.
Oh, it
And
is?
they're taking it,
But still, it's the
they're
same.
taking it from East Palestine, trucking it up to a railroad siding in Lordstown,
That's,
putting it right in the tank cars and then transporting it out. That's been a topic of discussion, is how you regulate that, and they're saying the feds control that because the feds control the railroads.
because that's what when I heard that in the beginning of this whole thing, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
they're gonna be moving this hazardous waste somewhere and it's gonna pass us through Mahoning County and it's gonna go through other counties on the way there, wherever they're
And then
going.
there's language in the law that, because that was part of the discussion they had. Why weren't the people in Columbiana County or Mahoning County, when it went through here, why weren't they notified that there's hazardous chemicals on this train? And it's a numbers game. There were, of the entire train, which was like 118 cars, 11 of them had hazardous chemicals. And you need to have at least, I think it's 20 or 25, so that they
let you know. And it's not to tell you three or tell Tito or tell anybody else. It's to notify first responders that if indeed there's an accident, this is what we're carrying, this is how you can respond. Because the one thing I heard from fire departments, they spent 5 hours there pouring water on a fire. They didn't know what was burning.
Yeah.
That would be in the manifest, but Steve Sakeley from Hazmat said that in the initial hours after the derailment, the conductor got off the train, the conductor has the manifest, conductor gets off the engine, goes back as far as he can to where the trains aren't on fire, uncouples and takes the rest of the train to a train yard probably in Pennsylvania. So there was a lag time before anybody knew what was actually on the train because the
See,
manifest was
that's wrong.
Sure.
there, was gone.
That's wrong.
I,
I don't care if
I
it's
don't argue that.
one car.
yeah,
If it's one car
And that's part of
transporting
what-
hazardous waste or a
that's what they're
chemical,
fighting for now.
it should be, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm totally opposed to the way they did that.
Well,
JD Vance and Sherrod Brown, in fact, I'm gonna talk in about 10 minutes with Senator Vance.
I mean,
They
that,
have introduced language, the Railroad Safety Act,
right,
that I think among other things, they want these railroads proactively to notify, and the governor has screamed about this. And it's not gonna prevent derailments, but it will at least let the people along the road know if this train slips off the tracks, this is what we're carrying.
sure. And we see reports on national TV that said that there was things like that in place that was repealed 3 years ago.
No.
And there was some safety
actually,
regulations.
There were some safety regulations repealed and changed.
Uh-huh.
One of them was involving electronic brakes on trains
Right,
that are so long. This train didn't qualify for that. And I've read the Washington Post and the New York Times both did reviews of the rules that were taken back or relaxed under the prior administration. And none of them would have affected this train. But, I mean, that's become through social media and everywhere else, it's
yeah.
his fault, it's his fault.
everyone wants to politicize it, you know, and at the end of the day, you've got to do the right thing for the people in the
Oh, yeah.
community. You know,
And
it's
that's,
just,
and the governor
It's not
has
a
said, you
political-
know,
unfortunately, you know,
why they
you
went
know,
for
they're-
hours.
they seem to be
until-
doing that now.
Why they went for hours until the EPA got to the scene and said, you guys need to leave right
Yeah.
now. And that's literally what they were there from 9 o'clock at night on a Friday until 2 or 3 in the morning Saturday,
Right,
until EPA basically told them, drop your stuff and get out of here.
yeah, you know,
Because
it's,
they were there trying to fight a giant fire.
and with mutual aid, you know, we had
Doing fire
enormous
departments.
amounts of fire. I know Austintown was there, you know, there was so
Just about
many,
Every department
Yeah.
in Mahoning County, there
Yeah.
were departments from Trumbull, everybody in Columbiana, Western Pennsylvania, there was one or two from West Virginia that came up.
Yeah.
And they're just, you know, that's the whole thing, you know, running into the scene of danger, they're just coming because they know
They
they're.
should
gonna-
all be. So are they setting up somewhere where all of those firefighters and emergency management teams have testing?
what are you testing?
I think that's
What do you
stuff
think?
that's all gotta be determined. They've all lost it. I've checked Springfield, lost a dozen full sets of turnout gear. They know that it's contaminated and they shouldn't use it. Poland's lost some. Some, it's different, Canfield lost some hose. But a number of departments lost turnout gear that's about $5,000 per
Per
person.
individual, yeah.
Well, they should pay for
Um,
that, the government.
East Palestine, a couple of their fire trucks are no longer safe to use because of the exposure. And you might know this from working in the mills, the seals and the gaskets on those trucks where they hold the water,
Yeah.
some of those could be compromised because of what the fumes were. So
This is not.
Bill Johnson, I think, has requested that Norfolk Southern pay for a new fire engine for East Palestine.
And look at everywhere else that had
Oh,
their
exactly,
fire
everywhere.
equipment and trucks there.
The EMAs in Columbiana, and I think Andy Frost has done it here, where he has notified the fire departments. Send me a list of what you lost, we'll compile it and submit it.
I
don't
wonder,
think so.
where are they going to, and I know I'm asking you, but you're the media and you're there every day.
We know
see you
everything.
there every day. So what are they gonna do with the materials in the truck that they believe are compromised? Where, is there a special place they have to throw those away or send them somewhere or what? Like the hoses, the truck,
Oh,
like the equipment
I
we
don't,
have?
some of that stuff may just have to be discarded. I don't know how they do that. Some departments have industrial strength washing machines that they can wash their gear because they're always exposed to something. But whether they would get rid of this kind of material, I don't
Oh,
know.
man, I'd
They
get rid of
may have to have them disposed of as hazardous material.
Well, the rail should go pick it up in every location and bring it to somewhere where they dispose that.
And those
Take
are-
it to China.
Those are things that are being decided that we don't necessarily,
And we need to give them that after they gave us.
that might be a question,
they gave
and
us
Andy may well
numbers.
know the answer to that.
Yeah.
What, where,
We'll have to ask,
what these departments
Sure.
do with their equipment that they can't use anymore.
because if you
Right.
have it in the same location, you're exposing the rest of your people and the other firefighters that may not have been there.
Well, they take it home to their family.
Exactly. So this is like this is gonna be an ongoing,
Well, it's like I said,
Oh,
the
yeah.
wine, said, they need to establish a fund like what we've
Sure.
seen advertisements on TV for those exposed to asbestos.
Yeah.
You may have something like that. He wants to see something like that for East Palestine.
I'm sure the attorneys will be looking at that.
Already
Oh, I'm
at
sure,
least a half dozen
2
federal
o'clock.
class action suits.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of things going on with that.
Okay.
Well,
All right, anyone
thank
else
you,
have
Jerry.
any?
Appreciate the
Dad?
update.
I'm glad I could come and help you out.
Jerry, that's why you're our favorite. You are our favorite in the area, trust me. So, Audrey, anything?
No.
Nancy, anything for you?
No.
Come on, Nancy, talk to us.
Did you see the eyes?
Okay, seeing no one else, our prayers still go out to the Trafficani family, for, the things he's dealing with. And also say a prayer for Diane Fryer, dog warden's husband, Jeff. He got some surgery today in Cleveland. He's dealing with ALS and his issues and problems, so God bless him. All right, with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes, thank you.
Next week.
Next meeting is in Poland on Wednesday at, what time is it? 4:30 in the evening, Poland Township Hall.